Hello, it's me, David, from Stories of Our Lives. Just finished making the video for this week. I'm really enjoying the podcast with my mom. It's been a lovely experience working with her again. I want to take some time and thank you guys so much for the follows and the 2 subscribers we've got so far. It's made me very happy that I could also make content and partner with my mom the way that we've been doing things. I wanted to give her more of the spotlight because people are used to me. My followers know me, know more about my life, but they don't know about my family. And so I thought it was important that people realize that my mom is an intelligent woman, and I was not just raised by both my mom and my dad, but also my grandparents. And so that's why I've got a lot of old-fashioned values that I hold dear and what makes me the kind of person that I am. So, with that said, my following base is very supportive. They're very wonderful people who have given me nothing but love and support since I started all this. And looking back, I had a lot of fun with my X account being what it was. But with this direction I'm taking, I had to cut the old content out, which some of my followers are very unhappy with, but they understand. Basically, what got me so popular on X was rage baiting and the way I was doing it. So, even though I'll miss it, I'm still very happy. This is the right move to make. And this will also showcase what kind of man I am, which my followers already love that side of me. But it's challenging. Something you guys don't know is that I struggled with public speaking for a while. When I was younger, up until my teen years. Reason for that was I was constantly cut off from talking by adults and parents, or I was met with some very rude kind of people to deal with, and so it lowered my self-esteem a little bit and lowered my confidence in my ability to speak, because I was always waiting for the time I'll be cut off. I didn't expect anybody to actually listen to me or hear me out, and so it was like a nagging part of the back of my mind, and why I would slowly lose confidence in the way I was speaking. But when I took a class on public speaking, it was really, really nice to just be able to go up there and have the confidence because it's now my turn to speak. And the other students were very, very warm, very wonderful to talk to. I remember the women being very warm. They cheered for me, they clapped for me, they were wonderful. I've always been very popular with my peers, especially the women, so that was a very wonderful part of my life. There was never any judgment. We were all there for the same purpose, and it was important that we all made everybody feel as accepted and as not just accepted, but it's also comfortable, making them feel as comfortable as possible. And when you're children, I mean, that's where your confidence really gets tested the most. So I really enjoyed that. I loved having that kind of memory and that kind of thing to talk about. Let's see here. There we go. So, the phone was sliding. So that was a good memory I have, and learned a lot from that class, and I've carried on most of my life. So there was breathing tips. There was a lot of different things to go through. I always spoke very fast, so it was very difficult for some people to understand me. And that's why also I got a problem with the mic not always picking up what I'm saying. So I've always had a hard time struggling with public speaking, especially when it comes to cameras or microphones, because not only did my voice get deeper and so it didn't pick it up as much, but also it was very difficult for me to understand how to speak into the mic so it caught every word. Over the course of time, though, I think I've gotten a lot better with it, but I wanted to share that with you so you can understand. Because I know that a lot of people struggle with public speaking, and I wasn't immune to that either. But again, that's because of how I was treated trying to speak in public. So, I used to lose my confidence a lot with that. Not so much these days. Even my family, who cuts me off a lot, learned to let me finish my sentence first. The other issue with a lot of people I've noticed is that they stop speaking mid-sentence because they're looking for that little hint of someone ready to cut them off. They can read the language, they know it's going to come. The other issue is I know a lot of people who struggle with getting the words out because of that confidence, but also because they've been wounded before. And it's been very hard for them to get their voice out. Then you deal with the stuttering, you deal with a lot of different things, but what it comes down to is practice and gaining your confidence in public speaking. So with that, practice a lot, work on your breathing, work on your delivery, and it should be fine. Those were at least the tips I was given. So I wanted to touch base on that for a bit, but also show that there have been more challenges in my life than just dealing with parents and adults. Just in case there's people out there that could also relate or have a fear of public speaking, it's totally normal. I know lots of people that were afraid to sing in public, but they overcame their fear and they were very well loved for it. So it's mostly in your head, and the people that don't let you speak, the people that cut you off, that's just noise. It's nothing more than just noise. They want to dominate the conversation. They want to assert themselves in a way that makes you feel difficult and not heard. And it can drive you nuts. But what's important is your confidence doesn't get shaken. So you're not good at public speaking, big deal. You still have a voice. People still want to hear what you're going to say. It comes down to how you present yourself, your approach, that kind of stuff. So no, it wasn't easy for me in the very beginning. And then being a pastor, what I always wanted to do, I really had to go back to those techniques and work on it. I also don't like reading a script for obvious reasons, but the biggest reason I have is when you accidentally read a part out loud that you're not at yet because you lost your place, and then that's the running joke for the rest of your life. My family did that. All in good fun. I got no problem with it. But there's that issue too. So don't do what I did. if you're going to read from a script, don't lose your place and don't say something out loud unless it's the part you're at. Because otherwise, you'll get stuck because it's on camera. Which is another point I want to make. Speaking on camera, not easy. Not as easy than movies make out to be. And if you know your movie history, you know that it's very difficult to find an actor who can speak to the camera like he's talking to somebody. Very few can do that. So, keep that in mind. I would say the biggest challenge for me when it came to making a podcast or speaking in public was, will my words come out the way I want them to? Could I get the words out? One of the issues the human body has is when you speak and you start out strong and then all of a sudden your voice cracks or you lose the momentum of those words, and so it comes out strong and then it peters out. We get that little bit of a whisper. So it can be very tricky, very difficult, but luckily this is the time where you have unlimited resources on these topics. So if you struggle with having a strong voice or a weak voice, and how it fluctuates, I would recommend looking into voice actors. Hearing their techniques, what they do, would really help you out. This is the day and age where we have so much knowledge we can easily obtain, but a lot of people don't research it. So yeah, if you got that kind of issue, look into voice actors. They'll tell you. Drink lots of tea as well for your voice with honey. I don't do that. Singers too. You can lose your voice singing, especially if it's a chord or a note that you can't hit consistently. But in case you didn't know, that's a common issue for most people, especially if they speak a lot. My voice is pretty much used to speaking a lot because my family's a family of talkers. But when I know I've been talking for too long, I know it. So that's why it's important to have a drink nearby. That's why it's important to know what words you want to use. But again, problem being human is the words don't always come out as clear as you want them to. Or you stop mid-sentence because you found a word that fits the sentence better. That happens too. So the reason I'm explaining this is because I know that it can be difficult for people, and you'll get people to bully you. And hey, just because you may be bad at speaking doesn't mean you're gonna be bad at punching or kicking. So if anyone tries to bully you because your words didn't come out very clear, well, back in the day you could hit them for it. These days, though, the bully's going to instigate things and cause problems. And if you end it, you're the problem. Because there used to be a time when the bully wouldn't rat you out because, well, now his street cred's damaged. These days, they don't care. They will play the victim because it suits them better. And they got more practice at being the victim than the victor. Because, like I said, bully is just a mouthpiece. If you got the more physical type, that's the type that's actually a bully. With that kind of bully, yeah, you gotta hit him hard. The human body is a very wonderful machine that you could also very easily learn how to use as well as how to break. So learning the techniques of where to punch, which will inflict the most pain or whatever, is a very useful skill. So that's how you defend yourself against someone that doesn't respect you and shows it very plainly or plainly. Words can be tricky for English, especially if you're nervous. So I understand that. But you gotta pick a style that fits you and stick with it. If speaking slow and clear works, then do it. If you're used to speaking pretty fast because of a timer, that's another thing. Debates happen on a timer, typically, and so people have learned how to speak fast and clear at the same time, and that can be very tricky for some people. But speaking is a topic I wanted to talk about today because I don't want people getting bullied just because they got a hard time talking. They got a voice, it matters. You can help them or you can discourage them. Now, being an older brother, when my brothers had problems with speaking, yeah, I did tease them about it, but I helped them through it too. It just comes with the territory of learning the skill. Once you learn how to properly speak, you can then learn how to properly negotiate and work with people and debate them. So if you've got an issue with your speaking, fix it. Then all you have is power. Once you learn that skill and you're good at it, you practice it, and you keep practicing it, then you have a lot more confidence in yourself. That's where it's going to mostly come from, is how well you can speak. Because then if somebody gets tongue-tied in the debate, the argument, well, that means you got them so mad that they were having issues. I've had that happen once because I was recalling a memory, and you'll see on a video. But it's not something that's going to happen too often. It just means you lost the direction you're going because the emotions came flooding back. But as long as you maintain control of your thoughts and your speech, you should be fine. It comes with the territory of learning and figuring things out, or things will come out of nowhere and surprise you, and you'll learn to roll with it. But anyway, I wanted to talk about this specific topic because I don't want people out there feeling like, well, they're not good at speaking, therefore they can't do something. No. It just means that you gotta work on your speech and not be lazy with it, which is a common problem with today. A lot of young people in this generation have lazy speech because they speak completely in slang. Lazy. When you speak completely in slang, you're not going to intimidate anybody unless they speak that language. Everybody else is going to think you speak like a fool. And you do. Slang was originally used as terminology for a certain aspect. It was not meant to be used all the frickin' time, and it wasn't meant to be used as a language. It would be a term of phrase. It would be, a term of endearment, or it would be something that was, cool to say. It would be a phrase. It would not be a sentence. It would not be a paragraph. It would not be a conversation. We had a word that described people who made their own language to speak to each other. Nerds. Nerds would learn different languages from different sci-fi TV shows or movies, and that's what they would learn to speak in. What's the difference if you're speaking in slang? Nothing. You and your little buddies got together and made up your own little language so no one else can understand what you're saying, and that makes you a nerd. Because you're too afraid to say the real thing. That's my opinion, though. Just from where I grew up. So, yes, I believe that if anybody is using slang as a way to communicate nonstop, it's not just one word, it's multiple slang words in one sentence, they're nerds. Speak English. The slang in the 80s was cool, 90s even better. The slang in the early 2000s, everything made sense. They weren't rewriting words, they weren't making new words up. They were just making words that mean something, but they sound cooler to say. These words that they made up today, in this day and age, sound like they have a mental illness. See, we used to have radical or rad, we used to have tubular from the 80s, used to have a few different ones. Cool, chillin', vibe. Vibe was a feeling. Okay, it was a verb. You're doing something, you're sensing something. Vibing, I don't even know how to make that work in a sentence. Chilling, when you decide to make slang off of a slang word, it doesn't work. Especially if you're adapting that slang word to a different generation. That it already existed in a different generation, it makes no sense. Slang was slang, it was cool. When you're redoing a slang word, it's pointless. Use the same slang already, please. But yeah, there's a lot of different slang words back then. These days, I don't like them. They don't sound cool. They don't make you sound educated or tough. And that's what slang used to do. It made you sound educated and tough because it was the streets that you learned it from. But these days, I would not feel intimidated at all by anyone saying these current words. It's not tough talk. It's wussy talk. Really. It's pathetic. So, I would say educate yourself on what words work and stick with what works. I've been able to avoid a lot of fights just by staring someone down and not saying a word. The ones that run their mouths are not the tough guys. They think they are, but they're not. They're all talk. I've proven that more than once. It's the quiet ones. The quiet ones do most of the damage. So, there's an art to speaking, an art to not speaking. It's called a non-verbal conversation. That's when your fists do all the talking. So just keep in mind, don't let anyone bully you or tell you not to talk. You have a voice. Use it. Learn how to use it. Develop that skill. Because it's going to be a skill you'll need in this life. Don't let anybody try and silence you. If they don't like it, that's their problem. But remember, you are responsible for the things you say and things you do. You are held accountable by the words you choose to use. That's what separates you from an animal. In case you don't know what an animal is someone that speaks without thinking first. They think because they got an opinion or the ability to think and speak, that they have a valid reason to speak. They don't. They don't. Somebody who's educated in the art of speaking has the right to speak. These people, these animals, want attention, so they talk. The ability to speak does not make them intelligent. You can prove that by simply watching them not think it through before they say a phrase or whatever else comes next. So if there's any words of wisdom in this video for you, think before you speak. Don't let somebody else intimidate you. Learn how to properly articulate your words, because a clear voice is more threatening than broken English. Or in this case, speaking in slang. Purely slang. It doesn't work. It's trashy. It's stupid. It'll make you look uneducated. And if that's a look that people want to go for, then that's fine. They can do that. But there's consequences for that, like having no one afraid of you or taking you seriously. You're not going to be taken seriously. And women, the high caliber, the high classy women, the kind that I pride myself of hanging out with at the time, they would not give a guy like that the time of day. I hung out with a variety of different kinds of women, by the way, because I was friendly, nice, and I want to make sure it was taken care of. But I've always had my favorite type. And it wasn't good or trash, I'll tell you that right now. So, work on yourself. Take the time and better you. Because you don't know the kind of impact you're going to make on somebody one day. And when that day comes, you're going to need to be able to speak to them in a way that they'll understand. Calmly, very cool. Explain to them what it is they need to do. And see what happens. As someone who had an influence on a lot of people without social media, I can tell you, when you are responsible for changing somebody else's life, or how somebody sees them differently, it's a good feeling. But remember, you're trying to help people change in the right direction, not the wrong one. You want to boost their confidence, not destroy it. Which is why I'm looking at you, my biggest fan. Respect starts with how you talk. If you're lazy in your speech, you'll get a different result than if you spoke with confidence and awareness and in a tone that sets the mood. You have to really learn this skill to have the best impact. Which is why a lot of people who don't speak with authority or speak with a sense of respect for themselves, no one respects them. But sadly, these are the kind of people that a company looks at and gives them the management position, not you. Because their communication skills suck. And that's what they want. Because if the communication skills suck, then that means they can fire whoever they want to fire. I worked for a lot of guys a lot of people who didn't understand how to communicate. So it's always my fault, not the management. That's the game. Don't play the game. Get good at it. Work on your communication skills. Work on you. The best thing you can do in life is work on yourself. Even if you're in solitude, that is the best place to start when you're in solitude. Because when you're around other people, you'll know how to deal with the situation because you've practiced. Even if it's just a friend of yours or a girlfriend, still practice it. Work with them. Have them work with you. Learning these skills will help you better understand not just yourself, but also the situations that will come your way. And that way you're also prepared for them as well. So, that's the kind of video I want to make today. So that people understand. When someone is learning how to work on their speech or improve their way of talking to develop their own style, it's important to be encouraging. Because you don't know where that person's going to end up in a few years. If the person has the willpower, they're going to use the bullying as motivation to become stronger, bigger, tougher. And the moment somebody else says something that they shouldn't have, be it rude, insensitive, or cruel, they will pay the price. That's the way the world works. If you're weak-minded, you're not going to get very far. If you're physically weak, you're not going to get very far. If you're intellectually strong, you got a better chance. But you would have a better chance, a much better chance, if you were intellectually strong and physically strong. The brain is just another kind of muscle. And like every other muscle, it needs exercise. So practice. Work at it. And you'll be surprised at the results. I think that's what I got today. I've been thinking about it lately because my friend and I were talking about barbarians and brainiacs. So it would be a deadly combination if you combine the two. A lot could happen. I'm thinking about also posting videos when I can't sleep and I'm thinking about stuff. Typically, I can't sleep because my mind is going and it's thinking and it's processing, and I'm thinking about doing videos like that. Basically bouncing ideas off of the people watching. Because normally what I do is I bounce it off myself by talking to myself and working out the situation or the problem, find the right solution. But it would be pretty cool to do that on camera. Typically, it's trying to figure out the situation that we're in, find all the angles, and then seeing what kind of power I would have as governor to fix those problems. Other times, it's just simply I feel a little bit lonely, so it would be nice to have somebody to talk to. Normally, when I'm awake at night, most of my friends online are sleeping, so I used to have people awake at all hours like me, but not so much anymore. So, yeah, I'll do more videos, probably talking about the normal stuff and seeing how that works. There are many different kinds of content I can create with my kind of backgrounds. So we'll see what happens. See which ones take off and which ones don't. It'd be pretty cool to see what my followers want to see more of. So yeah, go ahead, comment, like, subscribe, and feel free to leave a donation. In the description of the video, or the description of the channel, I put in the 2 links to our ministries and a place to donate if you feel up to it. You don't have to. It's just out there. But yeah, thank you guys so much for the likes and the views and the comments in my DMs. I appreciate it. Take care. I'll see you guys soon.